Well, does that look familiar for anybody? It kind of brings up a good lunchtime conversation. So happy lunch hour, everybody. A lot of you participate in the live streams, and we talk about things that I normally don't talk about on the videos. But I've gotten quite a few emails here lately about what to do about predators. And I'm not talking about the coyotes down in Mexico. I'm not talking about the people trying to traffic kids or anything like that. No. I'm talking about the critters that are attacking your hard work, your gardens, or whatever it would be. Somebody had sent me an email this morning that they had just put up or just planted all their corn and it had just started coming up. And the crows got into it either late last night or early this morning and had ripped all the seedlings out of the ground, and now they've got to start all over. What to do about it? Many of you have asked me about voles or moles or groundhogs or chipmunks or squirrels or whatever. And I don't have a big problem. Now, and obviously you guys see it, I don't have any fences around my gardens. None. Okay. There's no fence around my yard, anything. And obviously I live in the country. So why am I not having the pressures that you guys are? And so I wanted to go over a little bit about that today. And I'll kind of go through each different one. I'm going to leave out the insects part, and I'm going to stick more to the four-legged creatures and some suggestions on that, or at least the two-legged ones. Okay, not people, birds. So, let's start with the four-legged stuff: the deer, the rabbits, the voles, etc., etc. All right, now, not everybody is lucky enough to have a dog that patrols the property. I mean, Daff and Copper are out enough that they can keep an eye on stuff, and they love to chase wildlife, so not a big deal. We saw deer running through yesterday from across the street into the next property over. They didn't come over here. Part of the reason for it is the wildlife know that there are dogs on this property, so that helps. But not everybody has a dog. So what do? Well, you're going to need other ideas. Let's say it's deer. I've talked about Billy's bone sauce. Okay. That is a good way to keep away some of the critters, but that's not going to work for everything. Marigolds are very good for keeping critters away. Uh, Onions, garlic, any sort of alliums. If you want pretty flowers, look for alliums. They're the ones with the big ball flowers on the top. Those are basically in the onion family. So if you're trying to keep them out of your garden, planting alliums, plant things that are deer resistant. Plant some flowers around. You should be planting flowers around your vegetable gardens in the first place because that's what's going to attract the pollinators. Find the ones that are deer resistant, and then just like bugs, you want to plant so you're confusing the animal. If you're planting acres, a whole garden full of, I don't know, cabbage, for example, the deer are going to know that, and they're going to wind up going in and eating, just mowing down all your cabbage. But if you've got cabbage next to onions, next to tomatoes, whatever would be your companion planting that I've talked about before, that will confuse the animals. That will help keep them out. All right. So, look at different things like that. In regards to birds, and birds is a big one for everybody, whether you've got fruit, fruit trees, or you have blueberries or blackberries or raspberries or whatever would be. The birds are all over that. A lot of people will say put bird netting up. That's fine when your trees are little. Okay, when your trees start getting bigger, it's not exactly easy to do. So you need different ways to keep the birds out. If you've got old CDs in the house, CDs work perfect for this. DVDs, whatever, they're silver, they're reflective. Put a piece of string on it, tie it, drill a little hole in the top, tie it to the branch, and let that thing spin in the wind. Okay? The reflection and the movement will keep the birds out of your trees. Now, you don't have the same luck with gardens. I mean, probably you don't have trees around your gardens too much, or at least close enough because you're trying to get the sunshine. The tree's going to shade it out. Go to the dollar store. Get those little pinwheels that the kids play with. Find the ones that are foil, silver, and put those up on stakes around the garden, maybe in the center of the garden. Again, the spinning of the movement and the reflection will keep the birds out. All right. Again, another dollar store solution. Get rubber snakes. Put them in the garden. That'll keep not only the little rodents out, but that will keep the birds out too. All right, because birds primarily use the senses of sight and hearing. So, they're going to look, and if they see a snake, they're not going to want to go around. If they hear something, again, that little flap of the pinwheel, that might keep them out. Believe it or not, birds can smell, most of them, all right? If you've got a cat, and I know the tidy cat litter, the non-smelling litter, it's got the floral scent or whatever, it's how they market this stuff so your house doesn't smell. As silly as this is, get a thing of the cheapest clay litter you can get. Let the cat pee in that for a few days and sprinkle that around the outside of your garden. The birds will smell the cat and they want nothing to do with it. I've told people on the live stream at least, Mrs. P, we have a bird sanctuary around here. I mean, she's got, probably a dozen bird feeders and bird houses and bird baths and everything around the property. She loves to watch the birds. The other thing is that keeps the birds out of my garden, because the birds would, when they go peck at your tomatoes, for example, what they're looking for is something to drink. So if there's a bird bath, that's a lot easier for them to get to than trying to peck through a tomato or do whatever. So, putting a bird bath or two out in your yard, obviously got to change the water because you don't want the mosquitoes, okay? But putting a bird bath or two will keep them away from your tomatoes. Putting some bird feeders out with bird seed or whatever somewhere around your garden, they'll go after the bird seed, in the bird feeder, rather than go after your vegetables. For the person that mentioned they went after the corn this morning, okay? Think about what those crows had to do. They had to go in there and dig up the little corn seeds. Go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Rural King, Tractor Supply. Buy yourself a bag of deer corn. It's about $6. You get 20, 30 pounds of it. Put a little bowl of deer corn out there somewhere, away from your corn. The crows will find that, or in Walmart you can get the ears of dried corn. Spread those out a little bit. The crows will go all after that. They'll leave your gardens alone. You got to remember, when you're gardening, you're going to lose some to nature. It's, most gardeners will tell you between 10 and 20% you're going to lose to bugs, you're going to lose to disease, you're going to lose to animals, whatever it would be. When you get a whole crop wiped out, okay, then it's time to start doing something different. But use some of those tips. Most of them are either real cheap or free. Buying a dog, obviously not, but those will be some solid tips to keep the critters out of your garden. No more predators. Somebody wanted to ask. Somebody asked today. A few of you guys have had this question, so I thought I'd come up and let you all know. I'm back out spreading mulch and doing all that sort of stuff. So have a good afternoon. I haven't looked at the news all day. Don't know what's going on. If there's anything crazy, I'll find out over lunch. Have a good one. Pinball out.